There are shows in this world that we will never fully understand, except Ghost Adventures. We have watched every episode to build our obsession, our fandom. Watching alongside each other because no one we know really gives a damn. Watching Zach and crew catch groundbreaking proof of the paranormal, inspiring us to explore our own interest in otherworldly phenomena. This is our podcast. We are Paranormal Cuentas.
Hey, everybody, it's Bethany.
And it's Leah. Welcome on back.
And we are here with our older sister, Amanda. Say hello, Amanda.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. That's our sister, y'all.
That's our older sister, Amanda. And we are here to talk about some East Side haunts. This is going to be the first in a mini series.
We're super pumped for East Side Haunts. We're going to dive in. And it only felt right, I think, to start with our older sister kicking it off, telling us her scary stories in the house we grew up in.
So, Amanda, what was your first experience with the paranormal?
Well, the first one that really stands out the most is I was in the bedroom. It was early morning, probably about 5 or 6 in the morning, probably 5-ish. My husband was getting ready to leave for work, and I was in that state of sleep where you're half awake, half asleep. Like you can hear what's going on, but you're still kind of asleep. So he walks in, gives me a kiss goodbye, and leaves like every other morning. And I'm laying there and I'm falling back to sleep and my eyes are closed and all I hear is, shh, she's sleeping. And then I hear, like when you run your fingers up and down the blinds and you hear that kind of noise. And I remember hearing that, and it was it was a kid's voice. And obviously they were talking to somebody. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it again. But yeah, I think that was the first, that's the first experience that really freaked me out. I just closed my eyes really, really tight. I didn't open them. I didn't want to see if anything would be standing there. I think eventually I probably fell back to sleep because when I woke up, there was nothing there. So that's the first experience that really freaked me out in the house.
That's wild.
It's so crazy. And what I want to know, if you have any kind of, because that's a big deal, and that's a really good haunt, right? Like that's like it freaked us out. Like we all got watery eyes right now. But what do you remember anything like prior, any stories from the house or mom and dad specifically that you think kind of helped? I don't know what am I trying to
help generate those ideas in your brain, maybe kind of plant the seed of you being a believer, or like believing that there was something in that room, or do you even believe that there was something in that room?
I think I definitely do. Like I've always had this fear, growing up Mexican, you grow up with these folklores since the time you can understand what people are saying. You have the uncles and everything telling you scary stories that happen within your family. And that definitely plants a seed in your brain that there's something else out there. Yeah. So
do you have any other stories from that house on the east side?
I have some stories that were told to me by other people from within the house. So I don't know if...
Go for it. I need to know.
So I'm going to say probably about 15 years ago, I'm going to say, our niece came to stay at the house with us. My husband's family came in from San Antonio and they were spending the weekend with us. And our niece at the time was probably, 5 or 6 maybe. And they had no idea of like what we thought was in the house or any, instances that we've had. So she was in the restroom and she comes out real, just like a kid and just like, hey, who's that kid in the bathroom?
Oh, hell no.
And they're the only kids in the house. So we were all pretty like, what do you mean? Who's the kid in the house? Like, who's the kid in the bathroom? And they're like, yeah. I can't remember if it was a boy or a girl. We actually asked her recently if she remembered, and she didn't remember. So I can't confirm if it was a boy or a girl.
Ooh, did she remember the instance at all, or she just didn't remember the gender of the kid?
I don't think she remembered the instance at all.
Ooh, that's interesting to me because I think you said, how old would she have been at this time? Like 5 or 6, like
Yeah.
super young.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting because like little kids are always highly in tune before they get kind of indoctrinated into adulthood and told to like, these things aren't real or whatever. So I think kids are really extra susceptible, and for her to kind of like forget that is interesting to me.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. She was more open at that time. So, but she never said anything like after that. She was just like, hey, who's that kid? And, what kid? But after that, she never talked about it again. She freaked us out for sure. I didn't even want to go to the restroom alone for a while. And that's my house.
I think that's cool because it lines up with your story that you said it sounded like a little kid, right? Playing with the blinds. And it was in that back half of the house, that same area, like one room down.
Yep. So another story, I don't know if it's a kid because nobody talked at that time. And I don't know, maybe my husband can elaborate on it a little bit later at another time. But he was getting ready for work one morning in the back part of the house, close to the restroom in the bedroom. And he said he was putting on his shoes, getting ready to walk out the door. And, he was hunched over because he was tying his shoes. And he said he definitely felt hands on the back of his shoulders, grabbing his shoulders. I don't think he was scared. Like, he didn't get a scary vibe, but definitely somebody touched him, grabbed him.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. What I like that you just said is that he didn't feel scared, because I think a lot of the stories that we'll share in regards to this house specifically are freaky, but very rare did I feel scared or threatened or like I had to be fearful of something. It was just, okay, yeah, something's here, and we just kind of accepted that. So I like that you said that, because I totally get that.
Yeah, like with the instance with the kids in the bedroom when I was asleep, like, yeah, at that time I was freaked out because I'm like, what the heck? Who's in here with me? But I still went to bed there the next night or that evening, I wasn't scared to go back to bed.
And you didn't have any experiences after that?
No, not myself.
What I'm kind of curious on, do you recall any of the stories that maybe mom or dad had shared about the location, either while you were really young or before we were around?
They always joked that it was, of course, built on some kind of sacred ground. And again, that's one of those things where I feel like a lot of Mexicans here, that their houses are built on some kind of. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never looked it up to see if there was anything, any kind of spooky stuff on that land. That might be something to look into.
You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Okay. All right. Nice. You're freaking me out a little bit.
Good.
Well, because I asked because I recall stories, and either of y'all can jump in and correct me, where dad specifically mentioned a story that just kind of stuck with me, where he said he heard someone in the backyard. And they had a dog at the time in the backyard, apparently, and the dog would bark. Dad would go check, nobody in the backyard, and he did that multiple times throughout that night. I don't know. Do you remember this story?
No, I don't think I've ever heard that story.
Oh man, it was a good one. But I get curious about that because because I'm starting to build this theory, and we've kind of talked about it before, that maybe Dad's the haunted one. Because a lot of the stuff happens when he's in the house, but your experience is he was not around. We were all living together at that time. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was just curious.
I mean, he's told me himself that he feels stuff in that house and he hears stuff in that house when y'all weren't there and stuff. So, I mean, I definitely feel there's something definitely in the house we grew up in, for sure.
Yeah, he definitely admits to there being something for sure, but he also says that he has never felt threatened either. That he always, like, the minute he walked into that house when they were, house hunting, he said that he walked in that house and said it was home, which is kind of one of those things that also happens in horror movies where like the dad walks in, he's like, "This is home," and then fucking Amityville happens.
Well, our family is cursed because his dad, our grandfather, supposedly sold his soul to the devil. And so our whole family is cursed.
Yeah, what did he get for that, by the way?
Obviously nothing good. I don't know. I don't know. That's just another story we heard growing up.
Yeah, we did hear that. And what a fucking crazy story. Oh, hey, by the way, your grandpa sold his soul to the devil. So we're just all kinds of fucked up. Thanks. It really pays off to be in the family. But what I recall of that story is Grandpa was successful for a very short period of time with his kind of construction work. To what I understood, he was getting a lot of work. I know he helped build a lot of things around UT, and Dad helped out in some of that stuff. So I think that he was pretty successful for a little while, and then his alcoholism, unfortunately, kind of got the best of him, and that all went to crap. So I don't think that he kind of followed through on his end of it, and maybe we continue to kind of see how that curse plays out. Anytime something bad happens to one of us, we're like, that damn curse.
Yeah, that's so true.
So we believe it.
For sure. I want to get smudged because of that shit.
But that's crazy that you bring that up. That's always been one of those family stories where it's like we gather around and, let's tell a story about how we're all cursed. And it's just what we do.
Well, it's just crazy because, I always hear so many scary stories from Dad's side of the family. I don't recall that many scary stories coming from Mom's side. Like, it's always Dad's side. And I think, it originated because of Grandpa. And it's still around us. It's still haunting us. But again, like, I've never felt like scared in that house.
I remember some stories from Mom's side about like her great grandma and stuff, them being like witches and talking to the dead and seeing, the spirits and some kind of God, I vaguely remember Mom talking about staying at that house one day and hearing like heavy footsteps in the hallway, and they would say that it was the devil.
Yes. Okay. You jolted my memory. Maybe I was blocking that out for some reason. But yes, it's I remember that as well. And that house freaked me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I did not like going to the house. And that's not our house. Let me let everybody know listening. That's not the house we grew up in. It was on my mom's side, her aunt's house. And it was real freaky.
Yeah, like as soon as you walked into that house, it was just a long hallway, and the rooms were either to the right or the left. So you go down this long hallway. So to hear stories of the footsteps on the wood, because it just goes all the way down, like you're listening to these footsteps for like a good 2 minutes. Like, this is a long hallway. What's crazy is our great grandmother, I believe, passed in that house and to the it's so weird, to the back of the house. Why does everything happen at the back of the fucking house?
You know what? Can I interrupt you real quick? So the story is that there was gold buried in the backyard of that house, and whoever that gold belonged to was still there. And so, oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps, guys. Oh my gosh. So they had a shed in the back. And that shed always freaked me out because supposedly it was under the shed. And so that thing or whatever was still protecting that gold was back there. And they, scare you and tell you if you look back there at night, you'll still see them walking in that shed or whatever. So, oh yeah, I don't know if we should talk about this anymore.
It's great. It's all starting to flow, right? But and I remember that. Don't look in the backyard. Don't look into the shed. And that's a very real thing. But what's crazy is the room where our great grandmother passed away. The windows to that room faced that shed.
Yeah.
Which makes it even creepier. But what I really want to touch on is apparently I can remember going to see great grandma right before she passed. And there were sheets or blankets over the mirror in her room. And I remember asking, why, what's up with that? Like, why do we got blankets on the mirrors? Yeah. And Mom was like, it's because she's seeing like the dead people or like, her family members are coming to see her through the mirror. And I'm like, holy shit.
Holy shit! Oh my God!
And it blew my mind that was happening. But for our family, especially our parents, to be so open about this stuff, they didn't candy coat anything. Like she could have easily said, "Oh, it's broken," or "Oh, they got to clean it." But no, she's like, "Oh no, the spirits are coming out of that thing." So I think it was really cool. Looking back, that our parents were so open to telling us these types of things when we were so young.
Yeah, I remember another story in that same room, in that same house. Apparently there were dolls or something, or spirits lived within a doll in that room, kind of like it was a Raggedy Ann doll, I think is what I was told. I don't know if y'all remember this story. And it was moving around, jumping on the bed or whatever, and ever since then, I do not like any movies where dolls come to life because apparently that happened in our family. And
what the hell? It was jumping around. And what did people do? Or they were just like, close the door. Like, what the fuck do you do?
I don't think I asked. I think I was just like, I don't even remember how old I was when they told me that story.
I can remember Mom talking about staying at that house when she was young and seeing dolls kind of come to life, or dolls would move. She'd leave stuff in a certain place and it would move into a different place. And just kind of classic haunted stories, like especially when it comes to dolls, dolls moving and being so active that you see them. And I remember her just being like, she just kind of looked away or ignored it. So I recall some of that. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense considering the women that lived in the house were super sensitive, spiritual, medium type people.
Yeah. She had an aunt, and I won't say any names, that apparently was real, I don't know, not psychic,
communicative,
but yeah.
With the dead.
Yeah. Yeah, so so I guess I blocked all that out because I was just thinking my dad's side, but yeah, I guess mom's side had some crazy shit too.
Oh yeah, it was both of them for sure.
So sisters, I think we're screwed.
Maybe we can make peace with them and they'll be chill and work in our favor. So we'll see.
Did we mention that house is also in East Austin? That house is maybe, that house is maybe 3, 4, not even 5 minutes away from our childhood home that we started the episode with. So something's going on the east side. Definitely lots of ancient burial grounds over there, man.
And grandma's house is right there too. Yeah. And that's apparently where grandpa sold his soul. So it's all in that same we're all in that same little triangle.
Was it in that backyard?
Yeah.
In that creepy ass creek?
Yep.
Oh, that creek really always freaked me out.
Yeah.
Because the devil had been there. Because the devil was there.
Evil stuff supposedly happened in that house. I mean, we can make We can talk about this all day long.
Unfortunately, we have pretty much reached our time. And that is it for this episode.
So thanks for joining us. Now, next week, we'll be back to our ghost adventures, but with the stories that we're unraveling, I think we'll have a East Haunts Part 2.
But of course, as always, we're feeling a little heavy. We have to leave you with some love, some light. Let's do a little ritual.
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the East, the powers of air and invention. Hear me!
I feel better.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
It feels
guys.
light. You feel good.
I do.
Feel like we can go about living our lives. I like it.
So thank you so much to our big sister Amanda for coming through for us and telling some spooky stories.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be your first guest and sitting here with the paranormal putas. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ow!
Signing off with two besitos.
From these putitos.